At this time, any member of the public is allowed to address the town council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the town council, except for items scheduled for a public hearing at this meeting.
And Mr. Mayor, I do have five individuals, 5 speaker cards. The first is Linda Roberts. She'll be followed by Jenny DeBray. If you want to come up to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Lyndon Roberts, and my address is 5869 West Oasis Road. And I, along with my neighbors, oppose the annexation of Linda Vista 39 and Linda Vista 13. In addition to this monstrosity of a development, the town of Marana has several subdivisions developments in the works. I hope you've considered the immense strain on your police force, your fire department, and all other departments that are responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of your infrastructure. As you know, income revenue to a town or city from housing is minimal, but the cost of policing, fire prevention, and maintenance is costly. So why would the town of Marana annex property just to incur these costs? Someone in power must be making lots of money on this deal for it to even be considered. My husband and I bought our home because of the open land and views in our backyard. We did not purchase this land to have views of inconsiderate development of apartment buildings. My name is Lyndon Roberts. My neighbors and I oppose the annexation of Linda Vista 39 and Linda Vista 13. Thank you.
Next up, we have Jenny DeBray, followed by Rhonda Career.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Jenny DeBray, and I live at 9685 North Linda Vista Place. I'm here tonight to voice my strong opposition once again, shared by many residents of Linda Vista, Oasis, Twin Peaks, Marana, and Tortolita neighborhoods, to the Linda Vista 52 annexation, rezoning, and development plan. This plan development threatens everything we love about our community: its peace, its privacy, its wildlife, and of course, property values. Let's start with property values. Real estate experts agree that changing zoning from suburban ranch to high-density multifamily apartments will cause a ripple effect of declining property values, not just for the immediate neighbors, but for those surrounding. Many longtime residents, that loss of equity means potential financial insecurity. Neighborhood character and privacy are also at stake. Our community is known for its open spaces, abundant wildlife, horse properties, and natural beauty. Inserting dense housing and apartment complexes not only clashes with our lifestyle, but it also raises serious concerns about increased noise, traffic, and crime. It strips away the very reasons we chose to live there. Then there's infrastructure and public safety. The traffic impact on Linda Vista Boulevard and surrounding roads will be severe. This road is already strained, and improvements promised by Pima County aren't projected to begin until 2030. Meanwhile, emergency services, utilities, and jurisdictional boundaries between Marana and Pima County will only grow more complicated, putting public safety at risk. I know this firsthand because last summer my 80-year-old father fell in my home. I had to call 911. The responding fire department was not the correct fire department, meaning we had to wait for another ambulance because the one in my driveway was not from the right department. In an emergency, these complications will cost people their lives. It certainly jeopardized the life of my late father. The environmental consequences are just as serious. The Sonoran Desert is a fragile, irreplaceable ecosystem. This project endangers wildlife corridors, protected species habitats, and local water flows and washes and riparian areas. It also threatens nearby private wells and ignores decades of Sonoran Desert conservation efforts. That's why we're calling on the council to please reject the Linda Vista 52 annexation proposal in its entirety. Please preserve the suburban ranch homes. Please respect the land. And if this development must occur, please relocate it to a less ecologically and socially disruptive area. Once we lose this land and this lifestyle and this legacy, it's gone forever and we cannot get it back. Thank you.
Next up, we have Rhonda Carrere, followed by Bill Cohen.
Good evening. My name is Rhonda Carr, and I reside at 5853 West Oasis Road. I am here again to express my opposition to the Linda Vista 52 annexation. 52 acres. That's what we are disputing. Currently, the town of Marana is approximately 121.4 acres or square miles, which equates to 77,696 acres. Is 52 acres that important to annex, rezone, and develop with the amount of pushback from the surrounding communities? I attended the planning meeting last evening along with a large group of our neighbors. At the meeting, Brian Underwood shared the concessions made to the original plan in hopes of coming to a resolution that would be palatable to those of us in opposition. There are still considerable identified flaws that continue to make this a poor fit for our neighborhood. Frankly, there isn't any plan that would be appeasing to our neighborhood other than the suburban ranch housing as currently zoned. Mr. Underwood suggested that suburban ranch housing is not in demand. I'm not sure I support his claim while I see several recent builds in our neighborhood, as well as several currently being built. How is the need for additional apartments and multifamily housing supported when there are unoccupied rental homes and apartments in close proximity to the proposed property? In addition, there are several new developments along Twin Peaks and Camino de Mañana, with more proposed. Mr. Dan Post, the owner of the 13 acres, was also in attendance. When asked why he doesn't sell his property like any other homeowner would, he stated that his property is not for sale. What an insult. I hardly believe that he is pouring money into a plan for development if there isn't a developer or developers waiting to buy. And all of this before Marana has even voted to annex. It seems like there is a lot to lose should this annexation fail. I can only conclude that Mr. Post and Mr. Goodman believe their investment in planning is safe with a certain yes vote for annexation. Mr. Mayor, I understand that you have accused yourself from this matter due to your relationship with Mr. Dan Post, but I hardly believe your influence isn't discerned by your fellow council members. Again, 52 acres. Is it worth the backlash and opposition for two property owners to maximize their profit at the expense of the surrounding neighborhoods and the integrity of the Marana Town Council? Thank you.
Next up, we have Bill Cohen, and our final speaker card is Mark Brazier.
Good evening. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the Marana Town Council, thank you for granting me the opportunity to speak. I am here to express my opposition to Linda Vista 52. And by the way, Bill Cohen, 9710 North Linda Vista Place. The proposed annexation and rezoning of Linda Vista 52 just doesn't make sense. As mortgage rates continue to be high, the housing market is soft. According to an article released by the Associated Press just last Friday, the U.S. housing market has 34% more sellers than buyers. Similar articles were recently released by the New York Times, The Hill, and Newsweek. To quote, aside from April 2020, when the pandemic brought the economy and home sales activity to a standstill, there haven't been this few buyers in the market. In 2024, there were fewer home sales than any year since 1995. This year is looking worse. Sellers beginning outnumbering buyers in November 2023 when the average rate on a 30-year mortgage climbed to a 23-year high of nearly 8%, according to mortgage buyer Freddie Mac. The average rate reached 6.89% this week, its highest level since February. The property located on the south side of Linda Vista Boulevard at Camino Benicardo has already been annexed and rezoned as part of Linda Vista Village at Cascadia. A total of 441 rental properties are planned. Linda Vista Boulevard currently experiences a high volume of traffic. The addition of 441 home rental residents from Linda Vista Village at Cascadia, along with the proposed 448 single and multifamily residents from Linda Vista 52, will only exacerbate the problem. While Marana may widen a section of Linda Vista Boulevard, there are no guarantees from Pima County. This development will lead to increased traffic congestion, particularly for eastbound traffic. Finally, I would like to address property values. On May 8th, the Planning Center presented us with an assessor tax value for properties adjacent to Desert Oasis. However, their data is flawed. It is important to note that the value of a property is ultimately determined by what a buyer will pay. Buyers of suburban ranch properties typically seek views that include mountains, flora, and fauna. The presence of high-density housing and multiple-story apartment complexes will negatively impact our views and force the reduction of asking prices in order to attract prospective buyers. Members of the Marana Town Council, I respectfully urge you to vote against the annexation of Linda Vista 52. Thank you.
Our final speaker card is Mike Brazier.
Hi, my name is Mark Brazier, and I live at 9630 North Linda Vista Place, which is adjacent to the 39-acre parcel and across the road from the 13-acre parcel. And I wanted to talk to you again about the Linda Vista 52 project, which you're considering for rezoning and reannexing, and which I'm opposed to. I'm going to go over some numbers just like Bill did, but mine might be more boring because there's more of them. Since 2021, when I first broke ground in my new house, a lot of building has occurred on Linda Vista Boulevard west of my property, which has resulted in huge traffic increase on a two-lane street without any major road improvements, causing road noise and traffic volume to rise significantly. There are several new developments planned for the town of Marana. 4 Linda Vista Village development projects on the south side of Linda Vista Boulevard next to the mall will add approximately 276 lots. Existing and future Linda Vista Villages houses on the north side of Linda Vista Boulevard across from the mall will add approximately 171 houses. Another proposed development on the west corner of Twin Peaks and Linda Vista Boulevard called Cascada Village 1, or another name called Cascada 2 Specific Plan, show approximately 372 lots. That's a total of 819 potential future and existing new homes driving along Linda Vista Boulevard. So by adding the Linda Vista 39, which are 95 homes and 306 apartment units, and Linda Vista 13, which will be maybe or hopefully not be 47 homes, gives us a grand total of 1,267 homes or units, which could be the minimum number of additional vehicles traveling on Linda Vista Boulevard very soon if all of these proposals are approved. There are also several indirect traffic influences on Linda Vista Boulevard, and I'm talking about Twin Peaks. There are 4 development approved projects, which are approximately 327 houses being planned. Just this past week, they started excavating for the new Tivari at Twin Peaks development. There's also been about 3 big housing developments started about 3 years ago on the east side, which are just ending. In these past few years, there's also been an extensive amount of trash on my property. Sometimes this trash is interesting and sometimes nasty. I won't go into the nasty stuff, but about a month ago, there was a dealership license plate I returned to Bill Luke Marana that was sitting on the side of the road, and for the past several days, there's a hubcap that's been sitting there. And that's in addition to normal bags and bottles and stuff like that. If developed, a 13-acre parcel, Linda Vista 13, will totally ruin my view of the Tortolita Mountains when looking out the front of my house. I try to visualize in the future what it's going to look like, and all I see is this big wall with houses behind it, so I don't think it's going to be very good. I hope the cost-benefit analysis results show these projects won't help Marana, and the town will help the Marana Town Council decide what they're going to do. But again, I just don't want to see anything getting any worse than it is right now. Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, I have received one more speaker card from Mr. Dan Post.
May as well let him speak, otherwise he's going to shoot me or everybody's going to shoot me.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Post and Vice Mayor Ziegler and council members and residents of Marana. I'm grateful for this opportunity to put this on the record. My name is Dan Post, and I stand before you as a lifelong resident of this community, having lived at Twin Peaks and I-10 since 1992. My wife and I are proud to call Marana home, where we've raised our family and built our lives. As a local business owner with commercial property in Adonis, I've invested in this town's future. My proposal to annex our 13-acre property and rezone it for a master-planned residential subdivision is driven by a vision to create a sustainable, thoughtfully designed community. This project will provide quality housing, preserve significant open space, and align with Marana's growth plans according to our town's prosperity while respecting its natural beauty. I must address the vicious attacks leveled against my family and me by the opponents to this project. They have spread falsehoods, accusing us of unethical shenanigans and corruption for personal gain. These statements are baseless and malicious, intended to mislead this council and divide our community. Most disturbingly, they've stooped to bigotry, targeting our faith, calling us sinners destined for hell, and labeling us as varmints. These lies and hateful remarks have no place in civil discourse. They aim to distract from the merits of this proposal by attacking our character and faith. I ask this council to see through this slander and focus on the facts of the project. In closing, I urge you to consider the benefits of this annexation and rezoning. Our plan includes mitigation measures to protect the riparian habitat and wildlife corridors, addressing concerns about the environment and water supply. We've committed to comprehensive archaeological surveys to honor Marana's cultural heritage. This project is all about building a stronger, more vibrant Marana for all. I ask for your support to move forward, fostering growth while preserving what makes our town special. Let's work together, not tear each other apart. Thank you.
Mr. Carr here tonight? I was just wondering if you wanted the opportunity to stand up here and level your baseless lies in your op-ed that you wrote today. Could you come up and share talk about some of the things that you've accused me of doing? Share some of that publicly? No, I want you. You're the one that's leveling the accusations. Please give me examples, specific examples.
Mr. Mayor, you have been out in public.
Okay.
And I can tell, I don't have the specific dates because I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but we know that
The
you have.
accusations that I'm talking about, your op-ed was full of slander.
Well, give me an example, Mr. Mayor.
Defamation. No,
Mr. Mayor.
You're accusing, you say.
Mr. Mayor, if I might interrupt, I don't know how to pronounce your name, Mr. Carr. You may present a call to the public if you would like to. That's up to you at this point. If you would like to go ahead and make a statement, 3 minutes long, you can do that. You can sit down if you would like to.
I'm giving you the opportunity here tonight, publicly, to state
Mayor
the
Post.
things that you have said about me, both on social media, in the newspaper today, baseless lies, and I want you to, standing right here in front of me, I want you to give me examples of those, or are they just lies that you're using to further your cause?
Mayor Post.
Mayor Post, let me interrupt for.
You are out of line.
Let me interrupt for a moment. Again, you may
Thank
If you
you,
would
ma'am.
like to make a statement,
Thank you,
you may. You're not required to. And Mr. Mayor, I would suggest that we not ask him questions.
All right.
Mayor Post, members of council, when you have a annexation that is like this, where it brings your brother's property into it and the adjacent property, which is multifamily homes that are bounced right up to suburban ranch residents, you don't think there would be public outcry? You don't think that people would, and I'm surprised that you would even be part of something like that, or your brother, because the optics on that, in my opinion, and it is my opinion, which I'm entitled to because we are in America, my opinion is simple, and that is that is not the right place for it. I spoke to you, I've spoke to the council, I've spoke to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Mayor Post, this is not a personal attack. Mayor Post, the optics of these look bad because you have Mr. Goodman who is jamming down 15 three-story apartment buildings 100 feet from my house. Sir, I've worked all my life for this. I have fought for my family. I've lost members of my family. I've experienced more death and heartache in my lifetime than many others have. I hate to do this, but I will tell you this. I'm trying to protect my property rights. I'm trying to protect my family just as you are yours,
So
sir.
does that give you the right to defame and slander me?
I did not defame you. I did not slander you. And I will be done with my comments, but you show me where I defamed you or I slandered you.
Pick up the newspaper, sir.
I did, Mr.
Yeah, you
Mr.
wrote
Post.
Mr. Mayor, you, at the conclusion of the call of the public, you can respond to criticism that's been made if you would like to.
Well, I am responding to the criticism that accuses me of doing something underhanded and foul. And by accusing me of that, you have accused almost every single person in this room. You have accused all of the staff. You have accused the other council members by saying that I did something underhanded. I did exactly what I was supposed to do. I declared a conflict. I went over there and sat in a corner. I in no way on April 15th lobbied for this project. I did not do that. And that is in your op-ed today in the newspaper. Sir, read it again. You wrote it. I absolutely am not going to continue to stand for people to come up here and tell me that I am doing something dishonest and underhanded. I just can't even, it boggles my mind that you would do that in this room, that you would do that to my friends and my colleagues. For me to do what you're accusing me of doing, it would take every single person in this room to be part of that. And so is that what everybody's here doing tonight, is accusing them of doing something underhanded? Accusing people that have spent 20, 30 years serving our community, and over this issue, because it's next to your house, you're going to accuse them of that? I think that's wrong, and I'm not going to stand for it. I would suggest two things. I would suggest that you get an education really quick on the laws of slander and defamation, number one. Number two, I would discontinue coming up here and telling everybody that you're a retired fire chief or whatever, because that does no service to those good people. And then coming up here and following that up with lies. I am done listening to you guys lie about this. You guys want to argue the project on its merits? Great, do it. Everybody, that's what this is for. But not to come up here and slander me. I will not stand for it, period. I sat here for months on end, quiet, and it just got worse and worse and worse. Not going to happen again. Councilmember Comerford?
Oh, I heard that. Oh, what? Oh, what? I said, wow. Oh, okay. So, first, Mayor, I want to tell you, my husband and I celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary on Sunday. Woo! And we still like each other. I had to start something off. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time to explain some things that I believe are not understood. Number one, this body is not bringing an annexation to the town. There are applicants that have legally the rights to bring to the town what they're requesting, an annexation. They have the right to do that. But there are 6 people, minus 1, up here that have to make that decision. Those 6. That's it. No more, no less. Okay? I want you to understand that. By coming up here, I like to talk about kindness and being nice to people. I will listen to anybody, inside, outside, around side, I don't care, about the town. I will be glad to listen. And we've done, I think, a fairly good job of listening. But there needs to be some kindness in our society again. I have sat here and heard you say how this project is going to affect your lives. You don't know me from Adam. I know more about you by the times that you've been coming up here and talking to us. You don't know me. You don't know what kind of person I am. You don't know him. Probably don't know her. Well, maybe. You don't know Terry. You don't know John. And Herb Kai isn't here tonight. But if I were in your shoes, I'd be kind. I'd be, like most of you have been, explaining why this is a detriment to you. Not that somebody is, or you're accusing somebody to speaking to all of us, because it hasn't happened to me. And I can pretty much guarantee you, by the shakes of heads, it hasn't happened to anybody else either. You see, this is not our first rodeo. Absolutely not. Not anybody that's sitting here, not our first rodeo. And we have compassion and we have understanding. But I want you to realize something. If you want to get something sweet, treat it sweet. Accusations, lies, slander, character assassination does not be, in my world, kind. You know? I don't care what it looks like. There's 9 siblings in that house, and they're all involved in our community. They're going to be involved in something at some point. That does not prove that they're doing what you're accusing of. Okay? We know what our rules are. We know we go to jail if that happens. The thing is, we're kind. We don't hold you to those same standards because we understand, we have compassion for where you are. So my suggestion to all of you is to understand these 6 people, minus John, because he's recused himself, are responsible for making that decision. So calling us names, and look at, you can sit here and shake your head, because it might not have been you specifically, but I consider myself a social male voyeur. I don't talk to you. I want to know how people feel about stuff. And I go on and I read. And there is so much misinformation out there. They have every right to come and ask for it. By law, we have to hear it. Do you understand now? Shake your head, say you understand. That doesn't mean we're going to vote for it. That doesn't mean we're all bad people and we don't care. I don't like scolding. I'm just saying, let's return our society to some kindness. That will go a long way for you folks. I've had people call me all kinds of things over the years. Do you know what? Not true. I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've called any of these people on the phone. We don't do that. We love each other and we respect each other, but we don't do that. And I can sit up here and honestly say, I don't do that. It's bothered me a lot because since the pandemic, people have gotten nasty. You notice that? Like I watch people yelling at clerks in the store and not nice to each other, and just let's just try to be kind and let's try to work it together. And maybe there's a way to rectify everything. Okay. But do not make assumptions, because it doesn't do you any good. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor?
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Thank you. For the sake of time, I'll just say that I appreciate Councilmember Comerford's remarks, and I agree with them as well. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to get this right, so I wrote it down. I want to take a moment to address the community regarding the proposed Linda Vista annexation and the ongoing comments and feedback the council has received for over a month now. On April 15th, 2025, Mayor John Post declared a conflict on an agenda action item and recused himself from the dais. After the proposed annexation presentation, the council informally agreed to direct staff to begin exploring the potential annexation of 52 acres in the Linda Vista area, currently located in unincorporated Pima County. Since that meeting, no formal action or decision has been taken by the council regarding this project. We're awaiting the application and cost-benefit analysis that will provide us with the empirical and factual information to help determine whether the annexation is in the best interest of the town of Marana and our residents. If the town approves the annexation, rezoning would follow as the next step in the process. I want to emphasize that no decision or approval has been made by the town council regarding this annexation, contrary to the claims made in a recent opinion letter by Mr. Randy Carr to the Arizona Daily Star. This is not a project that was quietly put in motion years ago. Since the April 15, 2025 meeting, we've listened respectfully to what you have to say about this project. However, this same courtesy has not been extended to the council. At best, your remarks are pure conjecture. Many of the statements have been speculative, misleading, highly emotional, and in some cases, just lies. Concerns regarding water, traffic, wildlife have been false. You have disregarded that all of us have property rights which apply equally to Mr. Dan Post and Mr. Goodman. In 20 years on the town council, I've never written a statement like this. And it saddens me to have to write one now. I've met some of you kind enough to remember the assistance I offered you on the Oasis project several years ago. Mr. Carr, you're one, and I think Randy too. Randy, and then there was another gentleman. And I thank you for that, and I thank you for remembering back then. That was not a pleasant time either, but we got through it. I worked as a contract and negotiation manager for 32 years for several Fortune 500 companies. I have worked as a contract and, I've proudly called Marana home for 36 years and have been a public servant since 1995, when I started serving on the Marana Planning and Zoning Commission. Throughout all those years, my ethics, honesty, moral values, integrity, and leadership have never been attacked, as your group has done in your posts and statements at the call of the public. Enough is enough. You have repeatedly said the Post family stands to gain financially from this annexation, and I want to point out that the only Post family member that stands to gain is Dan Post and his wife, the owners of the property. Finally, I must say this. For those of you who are on the fence about this annexation, the behavior displayed by the neighbors may be doing more harm than good to their cause and are pushing them the other way. Finally, going forward, I respectfully request that you print things that are truthful, correct, and accurate. This entire council remains committed to following the appropriate legal and procedural steps as outlined in state law and doing what is the best for the best interests of Marana and of its residents. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.